Hello and welcome to Web Series. Today I'll be teaching you how to work with HTML form. Now, what does the form do? HTML form is used to collect data from users when they apply the website. For example, when someone logs into a particular website and the person wants to register for a particular course online. Now, that person will be asked certain questions, and those questions will be received using a particular form. For example, when you are asked enter your name online, and then there is a box that asks you to enter your name, enter your age, you enter your address, you put in your address, and then at the end you will see something like save or something like submit or something like register. Now, those boxes that you type in your name, type in your age, type in your address, they are called what? Forms. They are called HTML forms. Now, there are different types of HTML forms, and today I'm going to be showing you those different types of forms and how you can use them on your website, and why you should use a particular form on your website when building them. So first, for you to start using forms, HTML form, the first thing you need to do is to call in the form tag. You call in the form tag. Now, after the form tag, the next thing is the action attributes. So you put in the action attribute. The action attribute tells what happened when the form is submitted. So in between this quotation mark here, you can decide to link another page, or you can decide to link another website, or you can state whatever you want to happen in there when the form is submitted. So in this tutorial, I don't want anything to happen when this form is submitted, so I'm going to skip it, and I am going to move to the next one, which is method. Now, how do you want your form to be posted? Now, if you notice, you see over here we have the get method, we have the post method. These are the two most important methods. Now, when using your form, it is much more advisable to use the post method. There's a reason why. The reason is the post method gets to hide your data when you submit it, so external user or third party don't get to see it in the address field. So, but when you use the get method, it will expose your data, which is not. Now, data is meant to be what? Private. So in the course of this tutorial, I'm going to show you the difference, but right now I'm going to start with get, so that you see what it's all about when we start using it, and then I will switch to post. So after you've done that, now you close your form. Next is to close the form element. In between it, this is where we are going to write our code for our different form tags or elements. So the first type of form element we'll be looking at is the input. So we can come here and say input. The input has an attribute called type. Now, this type is what you use to select or identify the different type of input. Input means a form that you use to collect data. Okay, so for example, if you look at it, you will see different option here. So, but I'm going to be using an option called text. So I'm saying whatever is imputed here should be text. And then we have the name. I'm going to name this input. I'm going to call it name field, or I will call it first name. First name. Or let me name them together. First name. Okay, so after you have entered the attribute called name, the next thing you are going to put in there is called placeholder. Now, the placeholder is what we display what that form is all about. So in the placeholder, I am going to say first name as well. Name. Okay, so this form will receive input of first name, and then it will ask you in the form, you will see a display that will say enter first name. So it is a placeholder that does that. So I am going to save this now, so we can see how it looks like on our website. Let's go to our web browser and then refresh this page. So you can see our form is there. You can see the placeholder there that is saying enter first name. So the user will know that, oh, this is where I'm going to enter my first name. So you can just type whatever you want to type there. Now, if you are used to Facebook, this Facebook has a placeholder that says what's on your mind, right? Good. So it depends on what you want the user to see when you place it there in your placeholder. So now the next thing form element you can use, there still is you can set up your, still on the input, you can set your input to be either a checkbox or radio button. So let's do that of checkbox. I'm going to cancel all of this. Okay, we'll now go to type. You set your type to be checkbox. You understand what a checkbox is all about very soon. I'm saying checkbox. So having done that, I have selected my type to be checkbox. The next thing I'm going to put is the name. So I'm going to set the name. Now it's very important that you name your file. The reason why you name your file is because when you are working with programming language like PHP, Python, and the rest of them, now you have to, you will work a lot with the name. The name helps to identify each of these inputs that we are writing. Now each of these form, it identifies it so that you can work individually with each of the form. When we start talking about PHP and other programming language, you will see why the name is very important. So I'm going to name this checkbox, I'm going to name it school. So after naming it school, the next thing I need to put in the checkbox there is value. You will see what the checkbox is once I'm done. Value, I can say class 1. Class 1, then I've imputed my value, and I can now say choose class here in front of it. Choose a class, right? So now I have done checkbox. So now I can repeat this so that you can see how it looks like, what a checkbox is really all about. So now this is class 1. I can say this is class 2. Okay, let me say choose class 1 and choose class 2. So I'm going to save this. Now a checkbox is used to tick. You use it to select options. It's used for options on your form. Now some of you, when you are on Facebook, you will see something like tick this box to agree to our terms and conditions. So you not tick it to say you agree to it. So that is what, that thing that you tick that enables you to tick that good on that platform when you are registering is called a checkbox. So now I have saved this. Let's go straight to our browser to see how it looks like. So I'm going to refresh it. Look at the checkboxes here now. So I can decide to tick this one. Are you seeing it? Now I've chosen which class I am, right? So this is class 1. I can decide to come here and tick this particular one. This is class 2. Now the checkbox gives you opportunity to tick as many options as possible. That's one thing you need to know about the checkbox. You can tick as many options as possible. Now there's another one called the radio button. The radio button only enables you to select one option at a time. So Let me add a break here. The reason why our checkbox is displaying side by side with the text box is because we did not break it to the next line. So you've seen the importance of break right now. So I told you in the course of this tutorial, you are going to see the importance of break. So I'm going to apply break here, meaning whatever form that is coming in should move to the next line. So I'll also put a break in front of this one so that the next one will go to the next line. So I've added the break in both of them, and I'm going to save this. So now let's see how it looks like. Let's see. You can see how it looks like. You can add a double break depending on how you want your form to display. So let's say I'm putting in a double break here. I'm putting a double break. So the line should break twice. It should give me double line spacing. That's what this means. So I am going to come here and put another double line here. So each of them will have double line breaking. So let's save this first and see how it looks like here. So you can see how it is now looking like double line spacing. So I think this look more mature. So now let's look at the next form, which is the radio button. The radio button functions the same way as the text box, or the checkbox rather. So the only difference is that we are going to specify radio button. So now instead of checkbox here, we'll specify it, we'll turn it to be what? Radio. We are going to turn it to be radio. So having done that, here we can say the radio button is used mainly when you want to select just one option. For example, male or female. You just want to select. So I can come here. Let me use that example. This is a male, and in front of it, I will just put male here. So in front of it, you are seeing the male there. Now I'm going to do this same. I'm going to copy it and I will post it here. Now remember, I said you use the radio button when you want to select one option at a time. So that's why I'm using male and female. What you do here is, if this option pops up in any form, you only select one at a time. So you cannot select the both of them to say you are both male and female. So I'm going to save this now. When you get here, you will see how it looks like. You see, I did not break it. So now I'm going to apply the break there. So now you've seen that break is very important when you are working with forms. So I like my own forms to be break twice. So I'm going to apply it here, and I'm also going to apply it here. So I'm breaking all of them. So I've saved it. So now let's go there and see how it will look like. So you can see you have male, you have female. So right now I can decide to select one. I'm a male. You cannot select both at the same time. Are you seeing it? When you select one, you select the other one will disappear. Now I'm selecting male, or selecting all female. So you use the radio button form when you want to give your users the option to select just one element. You use the checkbox, which is this one here, when you want to give your user opportunity to select as many options when they are entering or filling a particular form. So having known that, the next thing I want us to look at is the date format. Now all of them, they are just the same thing. The only thing you are changing there is the date. So I'm going to come to the first input that we entered, and I'll copy it. Let me give a space here. I will paste this here. Now this type text here now that I'm putting, I will not change it to date. So once I change it to date, look at what will happen. I've saved it. Now I'm going to go to my web browser and check it out. There's another one here. Are you seeing it now? This is the date. So I can easily click on this part now and select my date. Today is 13th. I have entered my date. So you use the date input to specify or give the user the opportunity to enter date directly from the customized date that we have. Then the next input I'm going to be showing you is the email. Copying this, I'm going to paste it here. Now let's assume you want users to enter their email. You can come here, change this one to email. Alright, so I have changed this to email. It means if the user entered anything other than email, it will reject it. It will tell the user that the format is not correct. So you can see this is it here. So it will only notify you when we enter our button, when we submit it. So for now, let it just be that way. Here it's saying enter name. So I'm going to change it to enter your email. So let's say enter email. So I'll save this. That's my placeholder. So straight to our web browser, refresh it, and it's not indicating I should enter email. So for now, I'm not going to give complete detailed example of it yet until when we've entered our button. So there's another type of input called the file. Now the file is basically for you to be able to upload pictures. Now when you log on to your Facebook page or any other page that asks you to upload picture, it is the file input that does that. So I am going to paste this other one here. Now instead of date here, I'm going to change this one to file. I'm going to change it to file. Now the most important thing in this file here is the name. So I'm going to remove all of this, and it has the name. So you can name it according to what the function, okay, let me say according to the function of that particular input. Remember, name every of your input according to its function. So like this email now, the name will be email. So when I'm working on it with my PHP and the rest, I'm going to be selecting it based on these. Like this one is date. I'm going to select date. I'm going to name it as what? Date. This one is first name of the person. I'm going to name it first name. So the name of that particular input form should be according to the function of that form. So like this one is file, so I will call it photo. So photo. I'm going to save this now. Let's see what it does on our web browser. So I will come here, click on it. Are you seeing it? It's now saying choose a file. So if I click on it, it will take me straight to where I'm going to select my file. So this is a picture, I'm going to just select it. So it's saying with this now I have selected this particular picture. When I input it into my database, whenever I want to display it, it is this particular picture that we display. So you use the file input to accept or receive what? Pictures. So there is also another one called number. There are so many input types, but I just want to show you just a few today. In the course of our tutorials, I'm going to show you more. So there's another one called number. You add it here, and then you change here again to number. It means this place can only collect anything number. If you put in text, it will not work. So you can just come here, the name, I'm calling it number. You can call it digit, you can call it figures. I think figures will be better. So let me say figures. Yeah. Figures. Let me just call it number for the sake of, okay, number, let me just put it there, number. So here the users cannot enter anything other than number. So if you enter text, it will not work. So I'm going to refresh this, and you can see it here. You are entering just 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's say I want to enter Y. I'm pressing the Y, I'm pressing the T, it's not displaying. So this kind of form only requires you to enter number. You can put in 5, and you can decide to increase it from this arrow upward, decrease it with the arrow below it. So that is that for numbers. So you can also set your dates, you can set your time, you can set your weeks. So I'm just going to take one more, and you can do a lot of research on HTML input. You will see that there are so many. So let me take one more here with this input type. I'm going to change this to week. I'm changing this to week, and I will name it weeks. So let's save this, and then refresh it here. You can see weeks. So when I click on it, which week are we currently? Let's say week 6 or week 13. No, week 6. Let me put it that way. I have selected it. So this is showing week 40/2004. So that's how to select different options from your HTML input form. So now there are also other type of input form I will still want you to know, the ones that gives you different options. Now let's look at the drop down list. To have a drop down list there, and we are going to introduce a new one called select. Select will give users opportunity to select from different options. So I'm just going to apply the name select class, right? Select class there, and after you've done that, the next thing is go down and close your select. So I am closing my select option here. So the next thing I'm going to put is the option. What do I want the users to select from? So I'm going to say option. I'm going to say option JSS1. I'm going to close my option. I'll just copy this and repeat it up according to the number of times I want it to display. So let's say 3 times. This is J1, this will be J2, and this will be J3. So I haven't done that. I'm going to close, and it means now the users are going to select a particular class either between J1 to JS3. So let's check it out to see how it's going to look like. So you use the select when you want to give the users a drop down list to select from. So you can see it here, select, and then choose a particular class. So there's something that this select is not doing for me that I don't really like. Okay, so that's that on select. It gives you different option that you select from. So ladies and gentlemen, there's one more I am going to show you, and we are done with HTML forms. So the next one I'm going to show you is text area. Text area. You know, when you log onto your Facebook and you see a place that says what's on your mind, that thing that shows you what's on your mind is called a text area. So I'm going to call it text area. Got it here. I'm selecting it. Then after you've done that, you can name it. All of them must have a name. So I can call it description, because the text area is used mainly for description. After which I will call in another attribute called rows. I want to set this rows is where you use to set how big you want your text area to look like. So I'm saying 30, and I will set the cols, that is the columns. I want to set it to be 30 as well. So and then the next thing I will do is add a placeholder there. I'm going to add a placeholder. I will say what's on your mind, like Facebook. What's on your mind? So you are going to now tell me what's on your mind. So I'm closing my text area. So let's see how this will look like. Remember, I need to include a double break here so that this text area can move to the next line the way I like it. So I will save this and let's check it out. Alright, so this is our text area. It's looking too long, right? Let me just change the rows and columns. They look too long. So I'll just make this one 10 and I'll make this one 10. So I will save it and let's check it out again. It's now small. So in here, this is where you write whatever you want to write. So this is your text area. You use it mainly when you want to do write-ups that the checkbox or that the text box will not be able to handle. So now the text area gives you opportunity to explain. So you use it more when you want to describe a thing or a place. That's when you use your text area. So I need to also add the break to the text area so that the next one can also go down. I'm saving it here, and everything has gone down. So now this is how the text area functions. So ladies and gentlemen, the last but not the least thing I'm going to be showing you next is how to add buttons to your form so that users can just click on it and submit. So I am going to come here and say input, type, I will say submit, and then I will name the button to be save, and then I will give the button a value and I will call it submit. So I want my users to submit whatever they've entered into the form so I can see it. So I'm gonna also add a double break here so that my form can display the way I want on the next line. So ladies and gentlemen, let's check it out and see how it's gonna look like. So we now have a button here called submit. So after the users would have entered their name, select the date, enter email. So now look at it now. Let me describe the email now. I'm putting TTTTT. This is not an actual email, right? So if I come here to hit the submit button, look at it. It has given me a notification to say, please include at in the email address. So they need to be at gmail.com, at yahoo.com. So you see, once we put in that email option there in the type, there's no way the user can submit this without putting a real email format over there. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how your HTML form looks like. Now there are two other things that I have not added to this form. I think I should just show you guys. The other one is called the field set. Now you use the field set when you want to group your form. Maybe you have several forms that you want the users to use, and you want to group them according to their purposes. So you can use the field set. Now in the course of our different tutorials, when we are using our CSS and the likes, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So but for this one, I just want to show you how to apply HTML form. So you have the field set. Now after the field set, what goes in next is the caption. The caption helps to describe that particular word form or the particular field set. So I'm going to put a caption here, and then I will say class registration. Class registration. And I'll close my caption. So the next thing I need to do is to close my field set. So I am closing my field set here. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, in HTML form, you don't use the word caption. Instead, you use the word legend. So sorry for that. So you say legend, and then you say slash word legend. So now let me save it. You're gonna see how it looks like. On our web browser, I have already grouped it, and is how it is. So you can see the line, the box that is there, it has grouped it into a particular column, and over here you will see class registration. So it even makes the form to look finer and even look much more beautiful. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how you can apply your HTML form to your website. Now I'm just going to give a brief description of this HTML form before we wrap up. So now we have our input form here. It is used to collect just input data like your name, your surname, your address, and the likes. The date, you use it to select dates. The email, you use it to enter your email. The file, you use it to select what pictures. Then this one is numbers, mainly for numbers. You just want to collect only numbers from the users. This one, you use it to specify your week. This one is a drop down menu that gives you opportunity to select from each of the drop down here. This one is a text area. It's mainly used for what? Description. This one is your checkbox. It gives you opportunity to select multiple choices from your as a user. And then this one is a radio button. You can only select one at a time. So, and then the button here, you use it to submit your data once the users have entered all their data. This is what they use to submit it. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how to apply HTML forms to your website. Stay connected with us right here on Web Series for more on web design and development.